Welcome to the Iron Self podcast, where we jump into health, fitness, mindset, and becoming the best version of yourself. Today with your hosts, Mike and Kayla Minion. Welcome back to the Iron Self podcast. On today's episode, we're talking all about meeting yourself with where you're at. Mike, why would something like that be important?
Because people hold themselves to such a high standard that they often push themselves a lot harder than they should. Now, I'm not saying don't push yourself by any means, but a lot of people, let's say you're injured. You've been training for a while, you get a training injury, or you injure yourself outside of the gym, and then you have to take a little bit of time off the gym. Well, once you come back from that injury, then a lot of people try and push themselves right back to where they were pre-injury. Now, let's say you had something big happen where you were off the gym for a month to 2 months, and then you go back and you try and lift the exact same weights, the exact same rep schemes, the exact same everything you were doing before, and then you're at a higher chance to re-injure yourself and have to start that curve all over again. So again, meeting yourself where you're at would be taking a less drastic approach on your first day back to the gym.
Maybe stepping that ego off to the side a little bit. So I think that this concept can be used for so many things. So say you're a person and you want to enter into a lifestyle change because you want to lose weight. Meeting yourself with where you're at might mean that you're not ready to get rid of all of the junk food in the cupboard, but you're willing to have a serving of vegetables at lunch and at dinner. That would be a great place to start. That doesn't mean that you have to let go of everything that you were doing. So it's just taking those small strides to really begin to truly show up in your own life, how you want to show up, and what it is that you want out of your life. We know that if we make these big drastic changes, they don't stick, they're not long lasting, and we don't have those results long term. They tend to be the short-lived experience, right? Like the amount of people that I have that are like, oh, I did this diet and I lost all this weight. And I said, so how's that working for you?
But did you learn anything?
Yeah, did you learn anything? Did you keep the weight off? Because a lot of the time they don't. And yeah, they're like, no, I didn't keep the weight off. I didn't do this. Well, why? Because I follow this set of procedures or these rules and regulations, but I didn't meet myself with where I was at. I spent the time meeting myself with what the expectations were, not with where I was ready to make those changes.
So I think a big thing that happens with these diet plans, or like these crazy diets where you change everything all at once, is exactly that. You're not meeting yourself where you're at because you're not taking the food that you're already eating and then incorporating slightly healthier, better options, better choices throughout your day-to-day life. So you're not meeting yourself where you're at. You're trying to jump and change absolutely everything at once. And this is something that we talk about with everybody that goes through our transformation programs. We're not going to just throw all of the changes at you at once and then expect everything to happen right now. We look at where you're at with your movement, with your diet, with your mindset, and then we slowly start to integrate changes, right? Again, habit stacking, small habits, piggyback them on to each other and create big success.
And I love what you're saying when it comes to like, let's say like a meal plan or a diet that has these rules, like you can't eat this, you can't eat this food is good, this food is bad, this is how you need to eat every single day, it's just based on this meal plan. And it's like, well, you don't learn anything, like Mike said already, because it's not what integrates into your life. So meeting yourself with where you're at is all about meeting yourself with your life, with where you are at in your life and the changes that you want to see or the changes that you want to make for long-term lasting change. So if you plan to never eat another carbohydrate in your life, then go ahead, do a meal plan that maybe has no carbohydrates because you never want to have that again. But if you plan to meet yourself with where you're at, maybe it might mean that I'm just going to eat less simple carbohydrates, so less of those sugary things, and I'm going to
less 5-cent candies,
right? And I'm going to involve more, maybe some vegetables, maybe some fruit. Maybe instead of having a donut with my breakfast, I'm going to have an orange with my breakfast. Like that's where I'm at because you know what? I'm just going to trade out one for the other. That might mean I'm not going to have the donut with my coffee and my eggs and toast, but maybe I'm going to have the eggs and toast and an orange in my coffee. It's not a big drastic change, but over time, that small change is going to lend way to big results. And I think that we live in this society where it's like, I want big results right now. I want the magic pill that's going to make me thin. I want the magic pill that's going to give me the health I need. But if we just started taking those small changes in our lives, we would start to see the big impact.
And that can go for everything in our lives, guys. Like we're obviously talking about like health and fitness because that's what we do. But this can go for any aspect of your life. Think about somebody that wants to change their career path. They've been doing a job forever, whatever that might be, and they want more out of their life. So they're like, I want to change. I want to be the CEO of a company or whatever that might look like. Now, if they just go from where they're at today, say they're a laborer, they're a truck driver, whatever it is that they are doing today, and they're like, I'm just going to quit my job and become a CEO. That's not going to happen. But if you start integrating small changes, if you start meeting yourself where you're at and you start taking courses that build towards the career that you want, or if you start making small habit changes in your day-to-day life that lend way to this greater goal that you have a much higher chance of success of hitting that goal rather than just trying to change from being the laborer to being the CEO overnight. It's not going to happen like that. You need to start taking courses, start building skills that the person that you want to become already has. So you need to see somebody, emulate what they do, the skills they have, the courses they've taken, and start working your way towards these changes.
I love that it's like laying the foundation. You need to have the skills for the lifestyle that you want. So when I begin to meet myself with where I'm at, it's like, what am I willing to do? So that's always the question I like to ask is, what am I willing to do? You might have a day where shit hits the fan, it's complete chaos, everything that could possibly go wrong goes wrong. All I want you to do is stop, pause, and ask yourself, what am I willing to do? You know, maybe I'm not willing to go to the gym and do an hour-long workout, but maybe I am willing to spend 10 minutes doing some deep breathing and checking in with my body. Maybe I'm not willing to eat a salad with chicken on it. Maybe I am willing to, have, pasta with a side salad instead. Meeting yourself in these spaces and asking yourself, what am I willing to do? What changes am I willing to make? And you might find that over time, you are willing to make more changes or different changes. So I had a client that came to me and was like, I want to lose weight, but I don't want to work out. I hate working out. Okay, so what was she willing to do? She was willing to walk her dog. Sweet. Let's start there. And over time, she was willing to walk her dog and do yoga. Then she was willing to walk her dog, do yoga, and start jogging. These are where she was meeting herself with where she was at, but we were constantly saying, what are you willing to do? Mm-hmm. What do you want to do? What brings you joy? What fills your cup? What empowers you to move forward? And from that place is where change takes place. It's not, what do I have to do today, right? Looking at it as like, it's my list. What do I have to do? What do I gotta get done? Oh my God. And guess what? At the end of the day, what is the most likely thing to get left off that list?
Self-care.
Self-care. Yeah, whatever it is that you're doing for you and your goals, because we're trying to make everybody else healthy. We're happy, healthy, but ourselves are usually the last person.
Now, if you want to make a change, the big thing is to make it as easy as possible. So in the case of this client that Kayla's speaking about, it was like, what are you willing to do? Well, I'm willing to start walking my dog. It's a task I have to do anyways. Maybe I'll just increase the duration or the frequency of it so it's kind of serving my goal a little bit better. Great. We will start with what you're willing to do because we can work on that. Once we have you moving, now we're going to start integrating ideas of different changes that you can take that'll get you towards your goal faster. Oh, okay, well now if I can get towards my goal faster, then your mind starts thinking about that as a positive thing. So it's like, okay, well, I'd be willing to try that if it's going to help me along my way. Again, meeting you where you're at, figuring out what you're willing to do, and then starting to work with that.
So, and meeting yourself with where you're at each day is very different every single day. The two things that I involve in my day when I say meet yourself with where you're at is letting go of expectation and letting go of judgment. And I always say to Mike, if you lowered your expectations, you'd be a hell of a lot happier.
I'm happy anyway.
But the reason for that is that when we let go of that expectation, whatever does take place is bliss. It's pure enjoyment, right? When I let go of these expectations around that, when I let go of the judgment, the have to, should, all of that kind of stuff that surrounds that, and I just simply let it be what it is, then I find enjoyment in it. There's not as much pressure. If you're ready to make a change in your life, step into the best version of you, check out our Iron Self Transformation Program. Find more info on our website, www.ironbodycoach.com.
Well, and I think a big thing for a lot of people, especially when it comes in the world of change, we deal with change. When we meet clients, they're coming to us because they want to change in their life, and we love that, right? We've been there ourselves. We've made those changes, and that's why we love coaching other people to help them get those same amazing results, right? So a big thing is being brutally honest with yourself, because when you are starting on a change of any kind, you need to be very honest with yourself as to whether or not you want that, or if you're just kind of in that thought phase where you're like, well, I want to change, but I don't really want to change because it's going to inconvenience me and the style of life that I live right now. So again, meeting yourself with where you're at and being honest with yourself is, do you want that change? What are the reasons you actually want that change? Is it something that is attainable to you in your mind's eye? Is it something that you can see for yourself? Because if you have it set in your head that you're not going to be able to make that change, that you can't, you've tried it all, maybe you're not ready for that change yet. And that's okay too. You got to meet yourself with where you're at. So maybe instead of a whole overhaul on your life and a big change, maybe you're just going to change one or two things to start that ball rolling, get some momentum, and then you can start to build on that.
I love what you said there, where it's like, do you want this change? Do you truly want it? Right? It's one thing to say, I want to build muscle, I want to lose weight, whatever that is, but to truly want it long term, long lasting, and the lifestyle that comes with it. And I think that is something that we need to be very, very honest. It's like, hey, I want to lose weight, but I also want to sit on the couch and eat Cheetos and eat donuts every single night. Well, you might need to be a little bit more realistic. It's like, okay, you can still eat Cheetos and donuts, but maybe it's not every night. Maybe now it's in moderation. Are you willing for that to be your lasting change in your life? That you can't eat Cheetos and donuts every night if this is what you say you want. And we begin to match those behaviors and those thought patterns with the lifestyle that we want. You don't have to work out to see the benefits in your life, but you have to move your body. Our bodies are meant to move, whether that be walking, whether that be yoga, whatever your movement of choice is. That's where that is important for your long-term health. But most of us wait to make a change until the discomfort,
the pain, the motivation,
or the pain is big enough, right? So it's like, we don't want to start on this healthy weight loss journey until, I've got hypertension and diabetes, or I'm pre-diabetic, or all of those other things that are coming into play. Whereas maybe we shouldn't start preemptive in these behavior patterns, meeting ourselves with where I'm at, instead of waiting until that pain becomes so great.
The big thing is like, because we do this for a living, we could give you a million reasons why you should start a health and fitness journey, why you should try and be in better shape, so then you can have, we'll call it an easier life as you get older. Okay, there's tons of reasons we can give you, but if they don't resonate with you, if it isn't something that truly hits home hard, then it's going to be really hard to make those changes. And this is where what Kayla's saying, right? Where your pain isn't big enough yet. Like, I deal with a lot of people who have been in injuries before, and we try and help them rehabilitate and be able to move their bodies through full range of motion without pain anymore. Beautiful thing. But if you aren't in enough pain, then you're not even going to take that first step and come and see somebody like myself or come and see somebody that can help you with that, because the pain isn't great enough yet. You're not in enough discomfort yet. And that is the first hurdle to get over. That preemptive measure, the fact that you can start to take advanced action on that pain, it should be something that should empower you.
Oh wow. That's huge. That's truly huge. Is that we need to start looking at our lives from this outside perspective, going, hey, here's the global look at my life. What is it that I want out of this life? What kind of body do I want to have? What do I want my health to look like? What life experiences do I want to have? I mean, we met a gentleman this past summer when we were rappelling, and he said it wasn't until he realized he had a hard time getting up off the floor with his grandchild that he realized that he needed to lose weight. And it wasn't until that moment, because we don't often have those moments that are like, oh yeah, this is going to be what starts the rest of my life. But he knew in that moment he wanted to be able to get up and run around with his grandchild, and how important that was. He used that very moment to propel him forward, because his pain became so great that it smacked him in the face, for lack of a better way of saying this, and was like, you need to make this change. We don't all get that opportunity. I mean, I made my change. I got hit by a car. Like, if that didn't make me make a change, then, geez, I don't think anything would have. But some of us aren't born with the ability to go, yeah, I like moving my body. That's it. I mean, like, I can totally resonate with that.
Some of us are, right? Some people just love the feeling that they get from that movement, but maybe they don't know how to eat properly. Maybe they don't know how to get their mindset right. Like, there's a lot that goes into that whole life, right?
Well, it's all about stepping into the best version of yourself, and that best version of yourself can mean something totally different every single day. Maybe today the best version of yourself is just simply drinking enough water. Maybe tomorrow the best version of yourself is practicing feeling your emotions or being honest with yourself. There's so many different things that can take place into whatever that best version of yourself is that day, and it's okay to not always be at your best.
It's okay to not be okay.
And when you're not okay, those are the moments when you do learn and when you grow. That is what this whole journey is about. And so each and every day, waking up and just simply, I'm here and I'm willing to experience this. I'm going to meet myself with where I'm at today. You know what? I just got over an illness in my body or whatever. Maybe I'm just going to get some form of movement going in my day. I don't need to lift a ton of weights, or I don't need to do crazy cardio, but I'm going to just simply move my body so that I feel a little bit better. Or I'm going to call a loved one and talk to them. I haven't talked to them in weeks or whatever, just simply because that's going to make me feel good and it's going to make them feel good.
We have a friend who, went through a breakup, and then what they did for themselves after that, because they were, obviously they lost a part of themselves, so to speak. And the way that they ground is they get outside, they get into the mountains, into the forest, and that, that is meeting yourself with where you're at, because obviously you're dealing with stuff internally, so you got to be able to express that in a way. And to them, that was getting out into the mountains. So, with every facet of your life, it can come back to meeting yourself with where you're at. And that's why we wanted to talk about this today, because it can be so powerful to take a step out of that ego and a step into your life at this moment in this day right now.
So all I want you to do is start your day with, what am I willing to do today? How can I show up today exactly as I want to? What am I willing to do to make these changes? And just allowing yourself to be here and to be willing to experience whatever comes your way. And that openness to the opportunity that exists in your life, in your day, in your week, in your month, in your entire lifetime.
Live life intentionally.
Thank you so much for listening to today. I hope you got some information out of this. Share it with a friend, a family member. Share it on your social media. Make sure you drop us a comment below. Let us know what you think. And have a lovely rest of your day.
Bye, guys.